And welcome in, everybody, to another episode of Inside Edge Primetime here on the Inside Edge Network. To my right, your left, is Chad Bryan. I am Eli Moon. Welcome in, everybody, to a Tuesday edition of Inside Edge Primetime. A lot to talk about, and we're excited to get into it all. But before we do that, Chad, how are we feeling on this Tuesday? It seems like the weather just continues to get nice here in Cleveland, Ohio, and I know it's not spring yet, but we're getting there. We're getting there.
No, I had to roll the windows down today. We were driving around
Yeah.
picking my son from school, and he was like, "It's hot." I'm like, "I know. We can't turn the air conditioning on, can we? Like, it's 52." Like, we can roll the windows down, though. There's nothing stopping us from doing that. That's not ridiculous.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we were rolling with the windows down today, man. It was 52, 53 degrees. It felt like it was about 70.
Yeah.
It was nice.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. And I'm hoping that it stays the same here for the album release show that I have here next Friday in Lakewood, Ohio, at Brothers Lounge. I'm hoping it's somewhat nice. I mean, I was seeing it's going to be late. Oh my goodness, mid 30s to the upper 30s, late 30s. Like, anyways, but yeah, so it'll be cool to see what's going on, what the weather looks like and all that. But yeah, Tuesday edition of Primetime here. We got a lot to talk about, and I guess without getting too crazy, we'll just start with kind of what's been taking over the last few weeks ever since the Super Bowl, which was the winner and is the Winter Olympics over there in Italy. And we got some stories to cover. Before we get into our stories here, Chad, we have to kick it to our Winter Olympics correspondent, Double A Anthony Alford, who has his take on the entire day of Winter Olympics and what to look forward to maybe going forward.
Hey, welcome everybody. Inside Edge Olympic update as we are now firmly into the second week. I want to talk a little bit about the skiing big air, the freestyle skiing big air, which Mac Forehand took silver in that event. Now, I saw a little video earlier today. The ramp for the big air, it's a little taller than me, just a tad. Try 180 feet high. To give you a local illustration of how high the big air really is, the gatekeeper at Cedar Point is 170 feet. And just a little bit higher than that, imagine the top of the Magnum roller coaster, Magnum XL out of Cedar Point. That is 200 feet. So in between Magnum and the gatekeeper, that's the big air ramp that is used. That, when you think of it from that term, that is nuts. But congrats to Mac Forehand for coming in, or earning the silver medal, I should say, in that event. I did hear something that we might talk about on Midnight Run tomorrow. Maybe Eli and Chad will get to this. They may not, but we'll talk about this on Midnight Run tomorrow night. But saw an article talking to town. Should basketball become a winter sport? Be added to the Winter Olympics as opposed to the summer. A lot of thoughts on that. We'll kind of see where that goes. All right, I had a cough drop. 60. It's going to be 62 degrees tomorrow, and then on Monday it's going to be 28. Back to you.
And thank you, Double A, our Winter Olympics correspondent and program director of the Inside Edge Network. And Chad, I'm not a big heights guy.
By the way.
Yeah, meteorologist. Hey, I'll tell you a story. I guess when we're off here about Double A and his attempted weather man dreams and ambitions, they fell flat pretty quickly. But I will tell you this: not a fan of heights. So I don't think that would be the competition for me. Not a roller coaster guy. So when Double A started explaining that it's like taller than the gatekeeper, which, yeah, I'm cool, man. That's pretty scary. And kudos to anybody that does these types of events. We kind of talk, sometimes during our Olympics coverage of what events could we at least maybe try our hand at. That one, I can't do it.
Not even remotely close. I still have not found. Maybe if we put basketball in there, there would finally be a Winter Olympic event that I could maybe physically do. Not at an Olympic level, but just I can play basketball. I can do that. But yeah, I'm out. Anything? Yeah. By the way, these rides, you can compare it to a ride. That's fine, but at least at the ride, you're secure. You're strapped in. You're safe, right? Like you think you're safe. Um, these, man, you're just on your own. You're just flying through the air with some skis or whatever on your feet, and that's
Yeah.
probably not a good recipe for me.
Well, we both talked about, our experiences ice skating. I don't know if skiing is going to be any different for either one of us. So,
Yeah, you cannot call what I did on skates ice skating. It was walking
it was escaping. It was escaping the ice.
essentially.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
skating. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Well, he did bring up a very interesting discussion. That's kind of I've been seeing it talked about in a few different outlets today, and I think it would serve us some good if we did discuss it today. That being like the Winter Olympics and Summer Olympics discussion and the sport of basketball. Obviously, right now the Summer Olympics are being played, or excuse me, the Winter Olympics are being played, but the sport of basketball is played in the Summer Olympics. Obviously, basketball a winter sport. However, at least here in the States with the NBA, most of the season taking place in the winter, it concluding in June with the finals and it being nice out when the summer, and the finals hit. But really, the majority of that season spent, you're wearing a jacket going to a Cavaliers game here in Cleveland. And I guess the debate was, do you feel that the Olympics should be a summer or a winter sport, or should it be a summer sport, whatever have you? Chad, what are your thoughts kind of early on this discussion of basketball and the Olympics and where they should be played?
I think this is an interesting one. I'm still not sure really where I land on this one because I mean obviously basketball is a winter sport. If you put it in the Winter Olympics, you're going to have a 3-week break from the NBA, which I guess kind of coincides with the All-Star break. Maybe not so bad, right? But then do you start the season sooner? Do you end the season 3 weeks later? Or do you play less games, right? That you're going to have to, in the Olympic years, something's going to have to give, right? So you're going to have finals going on until July.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, we're going to be in the first week of July. So I guess that's one con. The season's going to be incredibly long with a 3-week break in the middle. But then you look at summer. Summer's not a sport. Basketball kind of feels like a summer sport to me as well because I grew up you played summer leagues, and there's AAU. AAU is huge now. It's blown up. It's huge. It's so much bigger than it was when I was a kid. When back in my day, whatever, back before they invented dirt, it's fine. But there was one or two maybe AAU teams in the region, and now it feels like each city has 6 or 8 AAU teams, and that's totally normal. That's not abnormal at all. Even some of the smaller towns, back by me, have 2 or 3 AAU teams in the summer that go out and compete at a decently high level.
Yeah.
So it seems like in one way, okay, well, the talent's a little diluted because you've got all these, but it's not. I mean, it's still really good competition. So I don't know. In that sense, basketball does kind of feel like a summer sport. It feels like, the Olympics are supposed to be amateur, right?
Yeah, and you know what, Chad, and not to interrupt there, but they also bring up.
I don't blame you.
You're good. They bring up the IOC though, and in this Yahoo Sports article I'm reading from Dan Wolken, the IOC dignifies that basketball is not a winter sport because it's not played on snow or ice. So it technically is a summer sport. That's why it's being played in the Summer Olympics. Just to give some background there. But in this article from Dan Wolken, and this kind of like I said, I've seen it talked about a few different outlets. Just was curious your take on this because they see, or at least through this article, the big discussion is, hey, star power. The Winter Olympics, when you turn them on right now, we've been talking about it here on this show, about there doesn't seem to be too much star power. You turn it on and you see your local, convenience store worker that may have made it due to the luge, and now they're doing their thing, And I think the big discussion with this, like I said, this article is bringing star power. You have a LeBron James or any of these guys, Anthony Edwards even, and they're playing for Team USA and they're in the Winter Olympics. It brings that buzz. And maybe they could withstand that, the Summer Olympics. I started thinking, I'm like, well, what does the Summer Olympics do then? Because that is the biggest attraction in the Summer Olympics is basketball and having that there. But I guess, you look at track and field, which is very, I think a strong second. I think that or swimming. I think Michael Phelps made swimming cool for a lot of people again. I don't know if they have, you've seen Katie Ledecky run through. Maybe they'll have some other swimming legends. But then you look at track and field with Noah Lyles challenging NFL athletes or NFL players, Tyreek Hill, all these other guys. Maybe they have the star power to withstand that. But it makes me think like, well, if the debate is basketball winter or summer, maybe just have them play both. I mean, they're already playing every year. Maybe in there. Here's the thing, just thinking outside the box. There are enough talented NBA players, that can play for Team USA. Maybe they swap them out every 2 years, and this gives like the other country something to play for every 2 years. I guess that's why you have like the World Cup and things like those, like things established for the sports. But
Yeah.
just some thinking. But obviously the IOC doesn't deem it a winter sport. However, it seems like there's something that needs to create some buzz. Maybe the hockey does. I know we'll talk about that here in a second, but maybe the hockey does with the USA women hockey team going up against Canada, the men's hockey team having an inexperienced Olympic team really doing their thing so far. But what do you think? I mean, it just seems like now it's a battle of the most popular Olympic sport, because maybe that's what basketball is when it all comes down to it. And I'm a wrestler. Let me just make that clear. I wrestled my entire life, all the way through high school. So, Papa Moon would probably, wherever he's at, is probably like, oh my goodness, did you just say basketball is more popular than wrestling and Olympics? But it truly is. It's something that a casual can turn on, enjoy, or people that are really tuning in to like give the next accolades for these NBA players. And, we talk about Kevin Durant the other night. They're announcing the All-Star game that, he has this much accolades and he's the leading scorer for Team USA. And, so I don't know. Interesting.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, maybe I don't know. And I was thinking about just to get back to your why are it seems like there's so much more star power in the Summer Olympics. Is it because the athletes are just more accessible in general? Like you look at the Winter Olympics, you mentioned everything's played on snow and ice. That means everybody's bundled up, right? Everybody's in these giant suits. They're in ski goggles or whatever, helmets, full face mask. We barely get to know the athletes, right? But in the summer, I mean, you've got swimming, you've got gymnastics, you've got basketball. I mean, they're out there. They're just more accessible. It's kind of the difference between recognizing your average basketball player on the street because A, you can see their face, and B, they're 6'10" or whatever.
Yeah.
Or maybe not recognizing a football player. You might see an offensive lineman on the street, and I don't know, it's just a 6'5", 300-pound guy that you don't really ever see his face unless you're a fan of that team, or maybe if you're a diehard fan, you might recognize him. But I mean, I think a lot of the football players, they can kind of go unnoticed because they're a little bit further off the field from fans. They've got helmets on. They're just not as accessible as basketball players, right? You've literally got the first row of seats right there on the court. I mean, you can trip over people's feet.
Yeah.
We've seen it. But I don't know. I mean, maybe that's the reason that there's more star power in the Summer Olympics versus the winter. I don't know. As far as basketball, can we get them playing outside in the snow and ice? Can we do that? Can we get them all bundled up?
I don't think the NBA Players Union is going to go for that, Chad.
Yeah, probably not. Yeah, Giannis over there and just slipping on. Yeah, we don't want that.
But but you do bring up a good point. The accessibility. And it's like it is kind of baffling when you think about it, because summer most people are outside doing their own thing. I mean, for me, I'm obviously an artist and also promoter, so I'm booking shows. I'm on the move, going to state. I don't necessarily have time to sit and watch the Summer Olympics unless I have a chance to sit down for a quick second. Winter Olympics, I would imagine most people, at least, it's a slow season for a lot of people, so you'd have that time to watch. And the fact that there isn't, I guess, that star like chase, and we just talked about yesterday, 41-year-old winning, first gold. So I think, you look at that could be a story in itself. There's other stories that are out there, but not enough, I guess, to really draw people in like the Summer Olympics, and that's what's interesting. But yeah, what I will say is this. You have hockey, and that is what's, I guess, the drawing point for most people for these Olympics, getting to watch their favorite NHL stars for the men's hockey team with USA and across the globe, and then also the women's hockey team. And obviously they are they're facing off USA and Canada in the gold medal match. And that's exciting because they did face in the 2022 Beijing Games, and Canada won 3-2 over the U.S. back then, Chad. In fact, Canada's been on a little bit of a streak here. They've been winning quite a few, 5 of the 7 Olympic gold medals. And right now, it seems like they're just kind of on a dynasty run. But USA, they've been very dominant. 31-1, I believe, the goal advantage for the USA women's hockey team. And it seems like if they're going to win, they're just going to continue to score and be lights out. But this could be something fun to watch this week, obviously, with the Olympics. And kind of we're talking about that marquee event. This is that marquee event we might be finally seeing here.
Yeah, and if you're going to watch it, listen, here's always the debate for me. Are you going to watch it live during the day? I don't know. You might have work. Do you take time off work? Do you try to watch it at your desk, or are you gonna eat into your productivity at work to watch this gold medal match, or are you gonna do what I've been trying to do unsuccessfully, by the way, which is wait until prime time, Inside Edge prime time, a little bit later on in the evening to watch the replay on Peacock or wherever, and try to avoid any social media all day. But it's all over the place, right? You open up Facebook and boom, it's the top story. Whatever happened that day, so and so wins gold, and it's like, who's gonna watch
That's a tough. Chad, you could go 5-6 hours without seeing anything, and then you just happen to like have a lapse in you just forget.
Yep.
And that's
I've done
it.
it before watching the Buckeyes. I'll get an hour or two behind the game, and it'll be halftime. On the DVR, I'm an hour and a half behind. I pick up my phone and I see the final score. Or 2 hours behind, I see the final score, and I'm like, well, the second half's not gonna. I don't even care anymore to watch because I know what happens. Like I just saw the final score, and that happens. You try to avoid that, but it does happen. So I don't know. I mean, do you care that there's constant updates? I mean, should there be should social media, should Facebook and some of these social media sites instill a spoiler alert button, right? Like, don't tell me about the Olympics until 11 o'clock at night when I have a chance to get home and sit down and watch, right?
The Olympics are a tough one, and they have that with wrestling now when they do like the Saudi Arabia Royal Rumble. Like the Royal Rumble was in Saudi Arabia, so it was on at like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So it's like and if you don't happen to turn on, you think it's on in the evening. Well, guess what? Now you might see some things that you didn't want to see. You might get some of the results, and I mean it's kind of hard to avoid that. But I do understand the pain. I've been there before. I think one of my most painful memories as a Browns fan is I was during the Browns Baker season when they were heating up. They were getting to the playoffs. They were playing Denver on a Thursday night game. It was a color rush game, and they were playing Denver. Jabril Peppers had a great play in that game against Denver. They made a stand. The Browns won. I don't remember any of that, though, however. I remember waking up and the Browns celebrating in victory formation and the Browns taking the victory, Chad. And I was so heartbroken because that season was like so much fun. And that was one of the most important games. I was supposed to like kick it with family, supposed to go over. I had my Browns jersey on, passed out. That was, I guess, the first sign of I'm getting a little bit older. So, and I here at the age of 28 talking about getting old. I
want to hear it, honestly.
Yeah. But it's gonna be cool. It's gonna be cool to see this Thursday. To answer your question, I'm definitely gonna watch this live. I think 1 o'clock. I'm gonna try to definitely get to see it live to see what happens. It's one of the marquee events of these Olympics here. It's a rematch of the 22 Beijing games. A close game there, but can Canada stop USA, who's just really on an onslaught offensively? Obviously, a cool story with Layla Edwards. We talked about her earlier on in the Olympics. So just a lot of good stuff to like about these Olympics, and then keeping an eye on the men's hockey team as well. So a lot of stuff there. Obviously, AA recapping us on the heights and all the stuff that we wouldn't be trying in the Olympics. But a lot of exciting stuff here as we kind of hit the final stretch. Chad, any thoughts before we kind of put a bow on our nightly talk of Olympics today?
No, we can take a look at the updated medal count if you want to. And while we do that, while we do that, I just want to mention AA talked about the heights. I don't know if you saw on some of those jumps. Well, first of all, it was snowing really, really hard. Just before the show, I was watching some of the replays from just a little bit earlier, and the snow was really, really coming down. I mean, I guess you've never seen it go up. That makes sense. But it was really snowing pretty hard, man. So I'm sure there are some cool pictures, some cool snow globe effect pictures from all the photographers out of there, other than just the live video. But there were guys that were like helping, like pushing them down the ramp. I wouldn't even want to be one of those guys, Eli, because I'd be afraid that I would like slip down, like I'm going down that ramp and I'm jumping whether I want to or not. Like it doesn't matter. But you see Norway still leading in the overall medal count. They're first with 31. They've got 14 gold medals. Italy, again, the host country, hanging in there, man, at second with 24. The USA is creeping up on them. They've got 21. I imagine, the next couple of days will be some pretty big medal days. Italy, by the way, they're one goal. They're one. I don't know what I'm talking about. I swear, I know words. I used to know words. Their one medal from yesterday to today was a gold. So there you go. That's the updated medal count. USA is still in third place, but they are creeping up on Italy. Slowly but surely, they're moving up. So,
hey, we'll see what happens here.
I'm not sure they're going to catch Norway because Norway's got a lead that right now, honestly, is just ooge. So,
I know you were waiting all segment for that one.
I got to get it in every night, man.
That's our Winter Olympics update here on the Inside Edge Primetime, here on the Inside Edge Network. When we come back, we're going to talk about our continued coverage of coaches not being fans of their players on the court, just not playing the best basketball, and we'll send it over to UAB, and we'll talk about that. And Andy Kennedy, the head coach there at UAB, and his thoughts of his players' performance yesterday in their matchup. And then we'll also talk about returning MMA legend Ronda Rousey. She is back in an octagon, this time not a UFC octagon, however. She makes a return against Gina Carano. We'll talk about that and so much more here on Inside Edge Primetime here on the Inside Edge Network. That's Chad Bryan to my right, your left. I am Eli Moon. Again, Inside Edge Primetime here on the Inside Edge Network. Back after this. And welcome back to Inside Edge Primetime here on the Inside Edge Network. Chad Bryan to my right, your left. I am Eli Moon. We are back here on this Tuesday edition of Primetime, talking about a lot of great stuff. Our Winter Olympics coverage in that first segment. AA Anthony Alford, program director of the Inside Edge Network, and our Winter Olympics correspondent, giving us his update. And then we talked a bit there about basketball, about hockey, and everything in between there. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and segue into a cool story that Chad, you kind of brought to my attention, an hour or two before we hit the air.
Yeah.
Cool story, though, and I think we have some video to accompany it. You want to go ahead and tell the fine folks?
Yeah, real quick, I'll just preface it before we put the video up. I was just scrolling through Twitter and I saw a video of a 15-year-old sophomore high school girls basketball player dunking a basketball in a game in Wisconsin. Uh, and I was obviously intrigued. Her name is Najawani Riak. I looked into her a little bit more, and apparently she's not just a decent dunker. She's a phenomenal basketball player. Again, just a sophomore in high school. But check this out. Just watch the video. This was, I thought, a pretty amazing story.
Najawani Riak had more than 20 Division I offers before she ever stepped on a high school basketball court. She scored 48 points in her first game as a freshman, and she's just getting started.
It's like a dream. It's like not real that I got this talented player.
Najawani Riak is the real deal. At 15 years old, she isn't just the best player in Madison.
As far as like physical talent, like that's best talent being coached here at La Follette. And in the state, actually, like she's one of the top players, of course, the #1 in class 28.
ESPN ranks Riak as the 14th best player in the country. The La Follette star leads the state, pouring in 30 points a game, playing with a singular focus.
I just want to win. Like every time I step on the court, I'm just trying to win. Like no matter what it takes. If that means me scoring 0 points and having 30 assists, that's what it'll just be. I just want to win.
And win is what the Lancers have done. The last time that a Madison City school won an outright Big 8 title was 2003.
When Will and crew first came here to coach this team, they didn't even call us La Follette, they call us Lafayette. They didn't take us serious, you know, they thought we were just a joke. We were one of those teams like, oh, let's just go play them. We're gonna beat them by 30.
Now, Najawani is showing the joke's on them. La Follette leads the Big 8 heading down the stretch.
She likes being here with her peers. I'm glad she's here in the city. I'm glad she's staying here. I think it's special to be in your community. And for a city school like La Follette that oftentimes get overlooked, I think it's just a beautiful thing. And I think she's inspiring a lot of younger girls in our youth program.
For her part, she's less than 50 points away from scoring her 1,000th career point at the high school level, something most players don't do in a career. But if you know Najawani, humble as can be, she doesn't make it about her.
It's especially been on my mind a lot because my brother's gonna hit his 1K and it's like we're about to hit it at the same time. So that's just a really good feeling.
A good feeling, too, to have more than 40 Division I offers. She'll get to pick her next step with offers from all of the best teams in the nation.
Probably just not letting people outside just let that get to my head. Oh, you should go here, oh, you should go here. Just staying mysterious, I guess. You know, I don't really care about that. I just want to play the game.
Coach Green tells me she dunks in practice and that it's only a matter of time before she does it in a game. Between that, her college callings, and her future, the mystery will be out of the bag soon.
Nobody, I don't think, knew what she would explode and be right now, height-wise, and her talents. But we knew she was going to be special.
When they...
Oh,
Yeah, I do have to unmute myself, and that helps.
Yeah.
Sometimes
Yeah.
to hear you, you have to be off mute. But yeah, Najawani Riak. I mean, you heard the story there. We didn't include the video of her dunking because, quite honestly, I mean, no offense to the person who recorded, it's just such poor quality. I don't think it was going to translate over very well, honestly, to the show. It was a very short video on top of that. I couldn't really find a way to weave it in time to that story. But you heard him say there was a matter of time until she does it in the game. But she did it just within the last couple of days here. It's on Twitter. I mean, you can look her up. Najawani Riak. Again, seems like she has her pick, Eli. Anywhere she wants to go.
40 Division I offers is insane and just crazy, and she's very humble. It's just cool to see the talent. It seems like, I don't know, it just, the talent nowadays is just so crazy. You start hearing about these phenoms at age 13, 14 years old. I mean, really just developing into superstars. And you see it with Arch Manning, over in football, we were following him when he was in high school. It's kind of just crazy. I mean, at some point it does get a little extreme where it's okay, let them be kids and let them, live a little bit. But it is cool to see the story on this side of things where, okay, she's obviously having an impressive career and she's got a lot story to tell still. So
yeah, on the positive side of things, like you said, I mean, I think this is where social media helps. Again, on the positive side, I mean, this is where maybe and someone like her was going to get the attention regardless, right? She's about to score her 1,000th career point in her sophomore year. That's impressive. Her brother's probably like, yeah, I'm a senior. I'm about to score I'm a senior, bro. Like, right? They're about to score 1,000 points at the same time. I have no idea how old he actually is. He could be a phenom as well. I don't know. But it's the positive side, because now you might, like, let's say, you're someone talented, but you don't necessarily play the competition, not at a big school, whatever. This is where, like, things like Twitter, that video of her dunking was kind of blown up. It seems like she's already pretty well known with 40 Division I offers. But think about another player that might be kind of toiling under, like, just not really getting the attention from Division I schools. And all of a sudden you see a video of a dunk or something on Twitter, and you start to go, oh, who is this? And you look into her, she's averaging 35, 40 points a game or whatever. And it's okay. Now, whatever, you can have a little more awareness. But again, the con to that is now you've got people on Twitter yelling at you about what school you should commit to. And
that's what I'm saying. And it's like, they're just kids at the end of the day. That's the part that gets sad. It's like, but like I said, it's cool to see the stardom, like like I said, these phenoms turn into stars overnight. Very, very cool to see there.
Obviously a great student too, with 40 Division I offers. I mean, she's obviously a excellent student as well. So yeah,
absolutely,
be on the right path.
Absolutely. Well, I'll tell you this: somebody that wasn't having a good day and tried to ambush our story there. And shout out News 3 for the coverage there. But somebody that tried to ambush our coverage of the story there was Andy Kennedy, Chad.
Yeah.
And UAB did not have a good day the other night. Look, it's going to follow our coaching coverage here. We followed Jerome Tang, and eventually he got fired from Kansas State. We covered, the outburst, and then we talked about how he got fired, and we covered that yesterday. But now we have UAB and Andy Kennedy, and he's not so happy. He used a funny word. I haven't heard this word said in a while. Yeah, you got more on this? Before we send it the video, you got any more on this?
Yeah, well, like you said, Andy Kennedy, UAB's basketball coach, talking about, guys and NIL money, and I mean, listen, guys can legally make money. They can get paid now. We can talk about that, right? We can say that at the press conference. With that money comes some light expectations, like, I don't know, staying out of Bozo land, making your layups. Bozo land. Take a listen to Andy Kennedy.
To it in the second half.
I felt stops in the open floor. We had our moments, and we just didn't take advantage of them. Evan had a layup in the open floor we didn't make. Daniel had multiple. I mean, guys, we're talking about layups, man. These are college scholarship players that are making more money than most people in this room. Is it too much to ask for you to make a layup? Seriously. I mean, guys, we're in Bozo land, man. We're in Bozo land, man. You just can't finish at the basket. That's where we really miss Kyron.
Bozo land. I love it.
I love it. I not only Bozo land, but I love that he just completely devolved into Boomhauer from King of the Hill right there. We're in Bozo land, man. They on Bozo land. Like, I don't know what happened at the end of that. That was not his accent going into that, but apparently Bozo land brought it all out, man. That was funny to me.
Dude.
Record, we're not saying that Andy Kennedy should be fired.
Yeah, no, we are not saying that, actually.
It's just Bozo land caught my ear, and it caught my funny bone, man. I don't know. It made me laugh a little bit, so I thought I'd pass that along, because we're in Bozo land, man. They're on Bozo land.
Well, in UAB, they are 16-10 this year. 7th in the American Conference, so I mean, not terrible. No. Maybe able to make it, sneak it in as a last minute addition to the March Madness tournament. But I can understand Andy Kennedy's frustrations. This is the time of year, Chad, where we start seeing the frustration of coaches, where maybe they haven't made March Madness the last year or two, or and they're on the hot seat, and this is the year where it's all unraveling. Andy Kennedy's been there, I believe, since 2020. So I mean, I think has an extension through 28, 29, I believe. So he's there for a minute, So I mean, granted, we are seeing Kansas State having to figure out if they're gonna have to pay Jerome Tang's contract. So I guess contracts don't mean too much anymore nowadays. But this was, I mean, I just thought it was funny, man. I mean, I can understand the frustration, not making layups. Obviously, the frustration was after a loss, obviously 55-54 to Tulane, in a game that was at home. So understanding losing at home, you never want to lose at home, and to lose just by layups, you're in bozo land, Chad.
But yeah, straight up Bozo land. I love that. I mean, it was just straight Boomhauer from King of the Hill, man. Right at the end of that, that was the funniest part of that to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, nothing incendiary said there by Andy Kennedy. I don't think he's in danger of being in any trouble. That's not something he should have kept out of the media. It's fine. I mean, I think what he said is fine. I don't disagree with him. I think when you're making that much money, it's reasonable to expect guys to be able to make a 2 or 3 footer, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it's a pretty common basketball skill for most players at the Division I level. You would expect that. I think that's fair.
Yeah. Well, we'll keep an eye on if Andy Kennedy has any more outbursts this year. If the UAB Blazers make the tournament, and if we'll be talking about them come March Madness, Chad and I are still discussing when we're going to do a March Madness marathon. I'll be in Texas during March Madness, so I don't know when we're going to do that because we'll have an hour difference.
Yeah.
But I don't think that matters too much. We'll figure it out. So,
Right.
but yeah, so that's Andy Kennedy. Let's swing over to Ronda Rousey in the MMA world. When you think of Ronda Rousey, you think of UFC, you think of a lot of success, her fights against Misha Tate and all these wars, battles. And then you think of the end, right? You think about how it ended with the loss against Holly Holm that shocked the world, and then Amanda Nunes, and just really a very quick defeat right back to the octagon. It's been 10 years now since Ronda Rousey's stepped into an octagon. You would think, okay, she's going to step back into a UFC octagon, and she's going to get back under the UFC promotion. Well, Ronda Rousey brought this to the UFC's attention. The UFC said they are okay on it for whatever reason. So now Netflix is going to be picking this up with the MVP promotions, which, if it sounds familiar, is in promotions with, obviously, Jake Paul. And Ronda Rousey is going to be facing Gina Carano on May 16th in Netflix's first MMA fight, airing on the streaming platform. They've obviously had a bunch of boxing fights, a lot of Jake Paul fights, as most recent as the Anthony Joshua and Jake Paul fight that just happened, like a month or two ago. So this is the biggest news, Chad, and I guess, what are your initial thoughts? Are you excited to see a Ronda Rousey fight 10 years after her defeat? I mean, there's been talks about how can she keep up with the UFC women's division right now. Obviously, Carano, also somebody that's a veteran of the sport. Rousey is known, obviously, for her success, 12-2, 9 submissions, 3 KOs. But Carano, 7-1, 1 submission, and 3 KOs as well. She's a veteran of the MMA world for women as well. So, I mean, this isn't her matching up with that younger division, like the prime, but it's still 10 years after the fact, and I don't know. It just seems like a lot of questions that I don't even know how to answer, because it just seems like I answer it with another question.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the situation. First of all, it's crazy to think that she hasn't been in an organized fight or anything big anyway for 10 years. I don't know where that 10 years has gone. I mean, I squarely remember when she was, the kind of the face of at least, the female combat sports, and Gina Carano slid in there. By the way, it's odd to me to think that that they were both considered the face. Just under 20 fights apiece, right? That's such a small sample size. But I don't know. I think maybe after 10 years of not fighting, the only octagon I would really consider at that point would be the stop sign. I think I would have been like, I'm all right. I'm not gonna.
Yeah,
my bones are probably more brittle at this point 10 years later. But I mean, it should be entertaining, right? I mean, I think a lot of people are. I don't know. Have you been feeling a little nostalgic lately? Just for, I don't know. It's almost like pre-COVID times, right?
That's fair. That's fair. We did talk about Tyson and Mayweather yesterday, at the top of the show, and that going on. So if that's going on, I guess we can see Rousey and Carano. I just wonder how competitive of a fight this is going to be. It doesn't seem like this is an exhibition. It just seems like this is like a legit MMA fight, which is interesting for the MVP promotions, because I know they build the Jake Paul fights as fights, but it just seems like, come on, at times. And so this will be interesting to see, but I think, with Ronda Rousey obviously being so bitter with the WWE after her stint there, I think this was her really only outlet to make some extra bread. I mean, and maybe that's not the end all be all, but obviously it's a fight that MVP Promotion is going to make sure there's some bread for that. Netflix is going to make sure there's some bread for that. And Ronda Rousey is going to get paid. Gina Carano is going to get paid. And the world will watch. I mean, it's at a point now where UFC understands that too. That's why they're dropping their pay-per-views to Paramount Plus, where you can do it for like $8.99, I believe, a month, and you can watch all the pay-per-views. Like, they're understanding that with Netflix taking this route into the combat sports world, that they have to either A, develop stars very quickly, B, drop their prices, or C, both. And right now the UFC doesn't have a ton of stars that are like, okay, I'm stopping everything I'm doing for a Saturday night. I remember days when Anderson Silva was fighting, John Jones was fighting, George St. Pierre, like these guys that you would literally say, I'm not doing anything this Saturday night because I'm a combat sports fan and John Jones is fighting her, or Anderson Silva, or even the bad guys, Chael Sonnen. You know, you look at Forrest Griffin. I mean, not necessarily a bad guy, but Forrest Griffin. You know, there's some of these other guys that like you think of Saturday nights, you think of fighting, and boxing had the same thing. And that's why MVP Promotions, why Netflix is taking advantage of all of this, because there is no clear, like, okay, the stake in combat sports. UFC is always going to be UFC. Boxing is always going to be boxing. But there is a lane for this almost independent type of vibe where they're doing, you know, whoever wants to make that extra bag, whoever wants to, you know, make a few money bags, they're going to go to this Netflix route. You know, we've seen it with a lot of things, Chad, even with as far as Alex Honnold with the skyscraping. Just, I mean, everything's going to Netflix and going to this independent party outside of the norm.
Yeah. This is actually the one area where I'll give Jake Paul.
Oh, we lost Chad.
A lot of credit. It just, he seems to, for him, I think, to kind of lift up the females, right? We always see there's always a pretty good, you know, fight on the cards between two females, whatever, usually at his events.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not a huge fan of Jake Paul. I think, I don't know. I mean, I'll give him credit. I mean, he's worked toward becoming something that looks like a boxer. I think we saw in his last fight against Anthony Joseph, I think we saw how that went when he caught someone maybe not quite sticking to the script. We saw what happened to him there. I think we were all kind of hoping that Mike Tyson was going to do that, but I think Tyson, you know, just maybe was in a situation where he needed the bag, and maybe there's something written in there where you don't get the full amount if you know, haul off and make me look silly or whatever. But
yeah,
I mean, like I said, I will give Paul a lot of credit on this. You know, and if these two do need the money, then that, you know, this is a great outlet for them. And who's to say? I mean, you can. I feel like at this point you can watch it, you can not watch it. It's already going to make the money it's going to make, right? I don't know. What do you expect the viewership to be like for that? I mean, who else is on that card? I haven't looked in.
I think it'll be strong, and I think regardless of who will be on the card, I think it'll be strong. But I think you can see some MMA legends on here. I mean, you know, who's to say? You know, maybe some guys that you know, guys and girls that haven't fought in a minute that feel comfortable fighting on this card because, hey, the expectation is we don't know what to expect because a lot of these people haven't fought in so many, you know, high level competition in a long time. So I think it'll be interesting. And as an MMA fan, I'm excited about it. And I think it'll be cool. I'm not necessarily the biggest Ronda Rousey fan. Just the way she left the sport was very sour, and kind of her attitude ever since has been very sour. But we'll see how it goes. And it'll be cool to see Gina Carano back in action. So with that being said, May 16th is springtime, Chad. I know you just got a very cool order in today, I believe. From our newest sponsor, Alley Rose Fragrances. Tell me, what kind of fragrances you get in? What candles we get?
I got my lavender lullaby. I got some. I got them over here. I don't want to. I was gonna try to put them on camera, but the light doesn't really like them too much. Spiced apple, and I was gonna just smell that. It smells fantastic.
Wow! Hold on. Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, Smell-O-Vision. We're on Smell-O-Vision. First ever episode on the Inside Edge Network. It's on Smell-O-Vision. But no, I'm really excited. I haven't even burned one yet because it's not because I'm not excited to burn them, but my daughter gets really particular about this stuff. She's like, okay, hold on. Tomorrow, let's all sit down and just figure out which ones are our candles. And I'm like, our candles. No candles are. What are you talking about? But in my back. Okay. But yeah, she's gonna pick through and decide which ones, you know, each of us are allowed to burn. Okay, good. I'm back. Okay, good. But my daughter will decide which ones we're allowed to burn tomorrow. But yeah, I'm super excited. They smell amazing. I mean, you can actually tell. They smell more natural. You can. It's just there's a difference. They smell. The lavender lullaby is amazing. The spiced apple is amazing. They smell really, really good.
I love it. And if you want to be like Chad and the rest of the Bryan fam, then you got to go ahead and get your candle, your body aromas, your body mists from our friend Allie Rose Fragrances, who's actually celebrating a year of being in business. So happy anniversary to our sponsor, Allie Rose Fragrances, 1 year in business. And make sure you use our code InsideEdge. Yeah, InsideEdge 20. Yeah, that's right, Chad. InsideEdge 20 is the code. Capital I, capital E, 20, all one word. And you get 20% off your entire order. So, like you said, Chad got, 4 or 5 candles today. So, you saved about $20, I believe, on that order. And you can do that, too. So, go ahead and we'll put up the code during the break. One more time, AllieRoseFragrances.com. Allie Rose Fragrances, the newest sponsor of the Inside Edge Network, celebrating 1 year anniversary. So, go ahead and celebrate with her. Buy a candle. Use the code InsideEdge20. Yeah, Chad. I mean, a lot to like about those candles. Me and Pop Moon, we are deciding. We kind of been battling back and forth, and we're gonna have an order here soon.
Yeah, I was impressed with the way they're packaged really well. But like I said, you could smell. Like I went to open the package, you could smell like through the package. I'm like, this smells amazing. Like this might be the best smelling thing I've ever ordered through I don't want to say the company, but a certain delivery service, a logistics service. They smell fantastic. I can't wait to burn them.
I love it. All right, we're going to go ahead and let you put your order in as well when we go to a break. Grab your caffeinated beverage. Grab a plate of dinner. If it's on the West Coast, grab your plate of dinner. Still around that time. Chad and I are going to take a quick pause. When we come back, we're bringing back Tuesday Top 5. This week, we took a step away from sports. We're going to close out with Adam Sandler and the top 5 Adam Sandler movies. Chad and I have an interesting list. We may upset some of you, and that is quite okay. We're okay with that, and we're okay with you going ahead and letting us know about it. So go ahead, follow, subscribe to us at Inside Edge Network, Inside Edge Net. Obviously, Chad at Real Chad Bryan, at me at The Man They Call Moon. That's on Instagram. That's where I handle a lot of my business. And then Inside Edge Net for Inside Edge Network. Inside Edge Primetime, we're going to take a pause. When we come back, Top 5, Tuesday Top 5, Adam Sandler movies. We're back right after this. And welcome back to Inside Edge Primetime here on the Inside Edge Network. To my right, your left, is Chad Bryan. I am Eli Moon. We are back for one final segment here on this Tuesday edition of Inside Edge Primetime. We appreciate you joining us, making us your source of sports, entertainment, mental health, and everything in between. We appreciate you. Make sure you give us a follow at the bottom, Inside Edge Net, on all the socials so you can stay locked in when Chad and I are going live. And the incredible programming. Just had a great episode. Conversations with Eli Moon aired at 7 o'clock your Eastern time with King Grim. Great sit down with my bro, hip-hop artist, like chopper rap. Really cool hearing his story from like charismatic to King Grim. So that was awesome. And then it's very important that you make sure you subscribe and follow, especially if you're a big baseball fan. Tomorrow we got a really jam-packed day, Chad. I believe 7:30 we have Jersey Chasers. Autumn and Christy are going to be talking about the sports and entertainment world and all their takes and reactions, obviously, on that. So I'm excited to hear what the girls have to say and what they've rounded up. I know it was Autumn's birthday last weekend, I believe, so we'll hear maybe a reaction to that as well. Keep an eye on that. And then obviously at 10 o'clock, we're going to take a quick pause, and then at 10 o'clock, the Inside Edge Network's Cleveland Guardians preview show. That's at 10 p.m. Eastern time. We'll make sure Chad and I are ready to go. We won't have prime time that night. That'll take the place because typically that's when prime time is. So Chad and I will join forces with my main event buddy, Rob Rozicki, and then Autumn from Jersey Chaser. She'll stay on, and we'll go over the Guardians, what to expect in 2026 from the team. Do they get to their first World Series championship since 1948? We'll keep an eye on that. And then, Chad, we aren't done for the evening. Inside Edge Network, make sure you are tuned in all evening. We have our program director, the one and only Anthony Alford, giving us a program reminder. Double A, go ahead and let us know.
Unhinged sports talk at an hour where you need it most. Midnight Run with me, Anthony Alford, on the Inside Edge Network.
You heard it here first, folks. Midnight Run with Anthony Alford debuting at midnight after the Inside Edge Network's Cleveland Guardians preview show. So jam-packed day, evening rather, for us tomorrow on the network, Chad. I'm excited. Double A going to be doing Monday through Wednesday, I believe, with the Midnight Run, so 12 to 1. So we're really expanding here as a network. A lot of shows, more to come into the fold. I'm really excited about that. And we got our work cut out for us. I'll tell you this. I know you haven't been on too many shows with Rob Rozicki. I'll tell you it goes like this. You're going to say a point. Now, it may go a little different for you. But for me, I say a point. And then Rob finds a way to attack it from a different angle, and we get into about a 15, 20-minute quarrel, and then we go to break. And then we come back. No, but all joking aside, it'll be awesome to talk with everybody. Excited to talk about the Guardians. Excited to really just to present the start of the season, and hopefully a fun one with the lockout possibly happening after the year. We'll keep an eye on that,
Yeah, I'm excited to quarrel with Rob Rozicki. I'm excited that we have our program director, Anthony Alford, just out there walking in the snow, waiting for the moment to do that promo. I'm impressed by that. Listen, we're big time here.
What does unhinged with Anthony Alford mean? Like, what could that possibly mean?
I don't know. Listen. Don't tell him I said this, but every interaction I've had with him since I met him has been a little bit unhinged. So I don't know if we're taking this to another level. I have no idea. Some of those are my fault. I'll take that. I'll wear that. But I don't know. Maybe he's taking it to it. I don't know. We'll have to watch. I mean, I'm not going to miss it. I'll be right here. I'll be tuned in.
I'll be tuned in right there with you. Well, I'll be over here, but I'll be tuned in on the same stream as you, watching our bro, Double A Anthony Alford.
We can find out what unhinged means.
Yeah, we sure will. We know
what unhinged means, but we don't know what unhinged with Anthony Alford means. That could be something different.
Hey, I'll tell you this. One way to find out, we'll have to watch tomorrow. So jam-packed day.
Listen, Eli, I'll tell you one thing. Listen, I know this for a fact, right?
Yeah, what's that?
I'm not gonna be streaming live from Bozo Land, man. I know that.
No, not Bozo Land. No, he'll be.
It won't be from Bozo Land.
Well, I'll tell you this. Then if he's cooking up a dinner like he did tonight, that he showed us in the group text, then I mean, my goodness, he might be on fire, ladies and gentlemen. You might get a changed man. So we'll keep an eye on that. Jam-packed Inside Edge Network day tomorrow and all week long. Great programming. Chad and I will be with you Monday, today. Tomorrow will be obviously special programming. And then Thursday, 10 to 11 p.m., Double A to follow from 12 to 1. And then this weekend, Side Hustle Wrestling Podcast with Double A and Kyle. Illegal Formation with Chad and TK. Sunday Sports Show with Chad, TK, and Ryan Mosser. And then the main event with myself, Robert Zicki, and AA Anthony Alford. Real Talk with Pop Moon, of course. Can't forget my guy, my Pops. Saturdays as well, 5 p.m. So he just had a great episode with Locally Grown. Thought that was really cool. Talking about like how the podcast started up, how they kind of inspired him. Like, just cool, man. Just cool. Chad, before I get on too much of a tangent, we are bringing back Tuesday Top 5. And we have a very, very intriguing one. I think the peeps are going to like it at home. They may hate our list, but that's okay. We can take criticism. Why don't you go ahead and tell the people about our new Tuesday Top 5?
Yeah, listen, it's Tuesday. We can't wait to be with you yesterday. We're excited for yesterday. We cannot wait to be with you on yesterday, Monday, as Eli said. But for today, we got Tuesday Top 5. It's the InsideEdge Primetime Tuesday Top 5. And today, you remember before the break, we said we're looking at Adam Sandler movies, right? So listen, if you're watching and you don't like our lead, maybe you think our list is in bozo land. Let us know in the comments. That's okay. You can disagree with us. We don't mind. We're not going to get upset with you. We might expect you to make a layup, but we're not going to get upset with you. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
So let's just get right into it, right? Let's just jump into it. Our number 5, Adam Sandler. There's a lot. There were a lot to pick from, man.
I think this is going to be Chad. Before we get into, I think number 5 is going to make people mad. I think 5 is going to make people mad. I'm nervous already. I'm not going to lie. I think 5 is going to make people mad.
Listen, if they get mad, that's okay. People are allowed to feel the way they feel, right? We're not going to get upset about that. But let's just bring it up since you think it's going to be so polarizing. It's grown up. Look at that group. We got. I mean, somebody's got. There's a bag on. I don't know what's going on there, but I can't remember exactly what scene that's from. But there were some really funny scenes in this movie, right? I remember the raft that inflated there in the store, and somebody pulled the rope on the inflatable raft. I thought that was pretty funny.
Yes.
Overall, just a kind of a funny movie, man. Kind of a coming of age movie, right? They're watching their kids basically grow into them, which is a little terrifying if you have kids and you're watching them grow into you. In my case, it's with my kids, it's bozo land most of the time. But
I think this movie was cool, Chad, because Adam Sandler is big on bringing his buddies all with him to all of his movies and like getting them all rolled. You see David Spade there, Rob Schneider, Kevin James, Chris Rock. Just having the vibes there, and I think that's what it is. I'll be honest, I know I fought for this to make the list, and I think it's just because it reminds me of I was 12, 13 when this movie came out, and this was like one of the peak Adam Sandler, just hilarious moments, and he also, just by bringing his buddies in, he didn't have to be the funniest guy always on screen, so I think this is this is like LeBron of Adam Sandler movies right here, where he distributed some of the funny moments of the movie off to his other buddies.
Yeah. I agree. I think it's fine. Listen, he's always been a good, I guess, a good friend, right? I think it's something you mentioned, Rob Schneider. I think it's interesting that Adam Sandler and Rob Schneider do something that a lot of us can't do anymore. They disagree completely on politics, but they still get along. They're still friends. I think that's key, right? Like sometimes you have to be able to get along with someone when you maybe don't agree with certain things. And Schneider and Sandler, I think, are a good example of that. Whatever, that's neither here nor there. Let's move to the number 4 movie on our list, which is Billy Madison. Right? Okay. Now, it's funny to hear you say that you were how old when Grown Ups came out?
Like 12 or 13.
Okay, because I was 16 when Billy Madison came out in 1995.
Nice. I was 2 years from being born.
That's awesome. So you remember the release date then very well, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I mean, this is obviously a little bit more of a juvenile Adam Sandler iteration of a movie, right? It's a little, I mean, it's got some funny moments, but to me, it's a classic because I was in high school. I was 16 years old when this came out. It made me laugh. Have you seen Billy Madison, right, Eli? You're not too old.
Yes.
It's not black and white or anything. Like you can,
it's a good movie, and it has its replay value. And, you hear people all, from different generations talk about Billy Madison and watching that. Quotables in the movie. My pops talks about it. Everybody kind of chats about it at some point. So I think Billy Madison not being on this list, I think would upset some people. So I think 4 is a good spot. I think if we would have put Grown Ups in front of Billy Madison, then we probably would have been shut down. They probably would have shut down Primetime for the night and been like, just come back tomorrow.
Yeah, we would have been in absolute StreamYard bozo land. Yeah, no. I'm never gonna stop using bozo land. I'm gonna
Bozo's making a return.
Bring it back, man. I'm gonna bring the clown nose, everything. I don't care. Let's go to the number 3 movie on the list.
All right.
Now, at least now we said we were going to move away from sports for the night, but we're not totally moving away from sports because there may be a sports related movie on this list. And hey, look, here's one right here, The Water Boy. Remember The Water Boy?
Yeah.
One of my favorite scenes is so underrated in this movie when he's in the office with Coach Klein. He takes his baseball, throws it out the window, and it hits the professor that looks like Colonel Sanders. It hits him in the head. He's like, whatever. For some reason, that's like the funniest part of this movie to me. I don't know why. You sometimes like you pick out little things in movies and they just stick with you forever. To me, that was like the funniest part of this movie. But this movie's great, man. Just I love the college football aspect of it. And I don't know, man. Eli, what's your favorite? You've seen The Water Boy, obviously, right?
Yes, it's a great movie, and I mean, like the water sucks. It really, really sucks. And they're on the field, they're just getting after it. He's like, my mama said football is the devil. It's such a funny movie. Just like you don't have to worry about like the storyline. The storyline tells itself, but it's just so funny, and it's like really one of those movies that you're in it for the moments. And The Waterboy is such an iconic Adam Sandler movie. It's something that you could watch right now. You could have watched it when it came out. You could watch it now. You can watch it in 20, 30 years from now. I don't think anybody's ever going to be like, this movie, unlike water, sucks.
Yeah.
But very cool, very cool. And I love the placement. Number 3, I think it is a top 3 movie. I don't think you can have a discussion about Adam Sandler movies without The Waterboy being in top 3.
Yeah, I will forever be excited that the Mud Dogs are going to the Bourbon Bowl. That's never going to not
That's
get
right.
killed, man. That's an absolute cinematic masterpiece of a moment of movies.
And an accolade. Like, think about that.
Yeah. Hey. Let's go to number 2. It's whoa.
Oh,
I love a good technical difficulty. But anyway, number 2 is Big Daddy, which popped up and went away before I even clicked on it. That was fun. Big Daddy, this was a funny movie to me. This had another kind of a feel-good movie from Adam Sandler. This was one of the first movies that I can really think of where I watched it and it started to switch over to like, I don't know, man, the soundtrack was just like a lot more, it was just a lot lighter, right? There were some silly points, but like you could tell he was starting to grow up a little bit as far as his movie writing goes. And a lot of just really good feel-good moments from this movie. I mean, I still laughed. But right, I mean, this was like kind of a more, I don't know, tug at your heartstrings a little bit, didn't it?
yeah, sure did. I think Cole Sprouse, I believe, who became a Disney star, and but he played the kid in this movie. I mean, yeah, just a movie that had you laugh at one minute, crying the next, or just feeling all the emotions, and it kind of like, yeah, to your point, Chad, it had everybody kind of feeling like Adam Sandler, like he alrea's made a name as one of the next actors, like to really do this thing, but man, he really might do this thing, and like may have a long career, and I mean. There's a point now, I was telling my buddy Jack John before we got on the air about, hey, we're doing Adam Sandler movies tonight, Tuesday Top 5. I just had to let him know. So I was like, make sure you tune in. And we were just having a conversation about some of the movies that even get lost in the shuffle. Like, I know we'll talk about some honorable mentions, but I'll mention one that, before we get to number 1, that didn't get put in here, Sandy Wexler. I don't know if you remember Sandy Wexler from like 2017, where he played, I think, Jennifer Hudson's manager. There's some movies that aren't the greatest, but he can get away with it because he's had such a storied and successful career. And yeah, Big Daddy's a great movie, and it helped for Cole Sprouse too. I mean, kind of got him familiarized with American audiences and worldwide audiences at a pretty young age. So
yeah, can we throw Papa Moon's coming up here? I think he's a Waterboy fan.
Shout out Papa Moon. Yeah, Bobby Boucher.
You can't do it. I think. Adam Sandler's had a couple of serious movies that I think people watch them and maybe you assume that they're going to be some fun. It's like, okay, when does the funny start? But I think this kind of reminds me, and so I've heard people get like, what are you doing? You got to it's not funny. Well, listen, man, I mean, he can make any movie he wants, right? He's gotten to that point in his career. And I think it reminds me of when Snoop did the reggae album, right? Snoop did an entire reggae album and some people liked it and some people really didn't. And some people got really mad at Snoop for making a reggae album. But I'm like, listen, he's at the point in his career. He's done just about everything you can do. I mean, what else? The guy wanted to make a reggae album, man. Let him make a reggae album. Who cares?
Yeah, I'm with you. This is a good list, Chad. This is a good list so far. I'm curious to see what the people think of it. But what do we got for number 1?
Oh, there is a number 1. I thought we were going to end the show here. Oh,
yeah, we're just doing the top 4.
Yeah, we should
We're
go
doing the top 5 Adam Sandler movies, 2 through 5. Number 1 to be
or with
determined.
the cliffhanger. Hey, yeah.
Yep.
Listen, the top. Well, I think you know. I mean, if you've watched any Adam Sandler movie, you got to know, right? I mean, it's Happy Gilmore, right?
It is.
This is the ultimate sports movie because it combines hockey, right? It combines with golf. You got hockey, you got golf, got a little bit of slapstick comedy in there. You got some physical stuff. You got some old, reliable Adam Sandler type of jokes. This was a really funny movie. Just the absurdity of this movie was great. Shooter McGavin is a great character. It's obviously survived long enough that they did make a sequel. I wouldn't put that sequel in the top 5, as far as Adam Sandler movies go, but I did enjoy it. I mean, I watched it and I enjoyed it. I love the, I don't know if you've seen it. John Daly's in it. That's a great point. My wife says, no, Mr. Deeds, sneaky, sir. Do not underestimate the sneakiness. That's a great point. Fine. Okay. Mr. Deeds gets an honorable mention. You know what?
There's some great ones.
Yeah,
like,
I know.
Click.
Yes.
I was surprised we left The Longest Yard out. I was fighting for The Longest Yard.
You did fight for The Longest Yard, and I probably should have put it in, but I was like, if we put all sports movies in, it's going to look, whatever.
It's going to look like we do a sports show from Monday through Thursday, 10 to 11 o'clock Eastern time on the Inside Edge.
We never want to look like that, would we? That's a great point. Mr. Deeds is, and Click is a great movie, man. Christopher Walken in there. That's a great movie.
Yeah, there's some great ones.
Oh, man, she brought up another one. Can I put it up? Murder Mystery.
Yeah, Murder Mystery.
Really good one, man. The Jennifer Aniston movie. Yeah, that's.
But Happy Gilmore created one of the biggest arch rivals of all time in Scooter McGavin. So, I mean,
really did.
Think about that too, I mean, that's a strong list, bro. I think what we got to do is we got to start posting these lists every Tuesday. We'll have people react, and we'll see what everybody else out there thinks, because clearly we didn't get. Hey, the house didn't burn down, so clearly our list wasn't that bad. So I thought we did pretty good.
That's right. We'll knock on wood.
Yep, absolutely. We'll be back Tuesday, top 5. We'll talk about, maybe we'll preview on Thursday what we're going to talk about next Tuesday. Maybe we'll save it for Monday. So just stay tuned in here for Primetime. Before we say goodbye and farewell on this Tuesday edition, though, we are going to get our final thoughts. Chad, would you like to kick it off with your final thoughts here on this Tuesday edition?
Yeah, listen, I don't have much tonight. I mean, I'm final thoughted out for the last couple of days. I think I guess what I expect each of you who are still with us and watching right now is that I expect you to go all the way through the Adam Sandler catalog tonight, retool our list, tell us where we made a mistake. I mean, I've already left I left Mr. Deeds off. That was a clear mistake. All right, that's a mistake on my fault, on my part, I should say. A mistake on my fault. That's a double negative.
That's a mistake.
I'm fine. I'm totally fine. Listen, it's getting into bozo land. I don't know. Watch your top. Pick your top 3. You can't have a 30 movie marathon. Pick your top 3 Adam Sandler movies and watch. That's your homework tonight. Pick a top 3 list of your personal top, whatever, favorite Adam Sandler movies. Watch them tonight. Watch them tomorrow, and then come back to the show tomorrow ready to comment and tell us your favorite parts, man. Tell us what I missed. Tell me where I made a mistake. I clearly made some mistakes here. So light me up. It's okay. It's fine.
And I'll segue into, I guess, if you're going to stay with Netflix and watching Adam Sandler movies, where a lot of them are, might as well watch We Are the World documentary too, which I believe is also on Netflix. Goes over like them creating We Are the World, like all the artists and Michael Jackson, Lionel Richie, leading the charge with everybody, how they couldn't get Prince, but they were able to compromise, get some other artists in there, and Stevie Wonder going missing basically for a few weeks. They couldn't get a hold of him, and then he comes in and he's trying to run the show. I love it. It was so much great stuff. So I would say my final thoughts are, if you need a good movie documentary, We Are the World. And then I'll just keep reminding people, if you need a good time here in Cleveland, or if you are traveling into the Ohio area, you happen to be here February 27th, step out the Brothers Lounge, $10 tickets. My album release show for Golden Child, going to be awesome. My bros Mushu, Cliche, and Gio also performing that night. I'll be performing the entire album. Album will be on sale direct, straight to consumer. I'm going a little blurry here. Bring me back. All right. But direct to consumer. I'm back. Direct to consumer, $10 we'll sell the album for, but it's going to go straight to like investing into more shows this year, out-of-state trips for the collective, and continue to expand community and continue to build community in a time where it's definitely needed. So any purchase is going straight back into building what we're trying to build here as a team, as a unit. Lahele, my collective, here at the Inside Edge Network. So $10 for the album, $10 to get into the ticket, to get a ticket to the show. And I'm running a cool special right now. I'll announce it right here. If you buy a ticket to my album release show and you show me the proof, you send it to like on my Facebook, or you see my Instagrams at the man they call Moon, send it to me. you get the album for $5 instead of 10. I'll cut it in half. It'll be up until about probably a few days before the album release show itself. But I'm going to be doing that. So if you want Golden Child early, go ahead and hit me up. I got the link. I know a guy. That guy's me. So that's my final thoughts, Chad. I think we did a pretty sound job here on this Tuesday of Inside Edge Primetime. We'll be back tomorrow with some friends. Some friends talk Guardians.
Yeah, I would put this in our top 5 episodes all time for me, honestly.
I mean, not too many to choose from, but I think we're doing pretty good.
We can run it back pretty soon if you want. While we don't have many, it'll be an easy choice.
Our Tuesday top 5 of Inside Edge Primetime episodes. With that being said, we will be back again. Reminder, busy Wednesday here on the Inside Edge Network. Jersey Chasers, I believe, at 7:30, and then they'll be done around, I believe, 8:30, or excuse me, about 9 o'clock. And then we'll be getting on at 10 p.m. the Inside Edge Network's Cleveland Guardians preview show. Chad and I, the main event's Rob Ruzicki and Jersey Chasers Autumn on the show. We'll be talking about all the Guardian stuff and what to know going into the season here. Baseball getting ready. We're getting fall, spring here in Ohio, so we're definitely getting excited here. With that being said, so
we got spring training games this weekend, Eli. It's happening.
I know it's crazy. It's crazy, and we'll be talking about all that and everything going up. For the Guardians and what's to take a look at here. So, and then of course, Midnight Run with our program director, our bro, Double A Anthony Alford, 12 to 1. Get into the mix Monday through Wednesday. He's going to debut that tomorrow night. So make sure you follow, subscribe, everything you need to do. Inside Edge Net on all the socials. That's for the Inside Edge Network, Inside Edge Net. And we appreciate you. Thank you so much for choosing us as your source of sports, entertainment, mental health, everything in between. Chad and I are very appreciative. Everybody on the network is so appreciative. Thank you again to our network sponsor, Alley Rose Fragrances. Congratulations on a year of business, of success. And thank you for joining forces with the Inside Edge Network. Make sure you use the code InsideEdge20, capital I, capital E, all one word, InsideEdge20 for 20% off your order on AlleyRoseFragrances.com. Get a candle, get a body mist. Feel good about yourself. Come on, man. Chad, with that being said, I think we're going to sign off. We're gonna gear up. We're going to get some baseball bats ready. And tomorrow we'll both bring a baseball bat to 10 o'clock, all right?
Is that for the quarrel with Rob Ruzicki or no?
For the Guardians part. We'll work on the Rob Ruzicki part. I love it.
I didn't know what we were. Okay, yeah, you're right.
I love it. I love it.
You had me in
all right.
mode, man. I didn't know.
Well, we're going to sign off here with that being said, and we'll get ready for Wednesday. Guardians preview show. Busy day. Starting off with Jersey Chasers. For Chad and I, this is Inside Edge Primetime here on the Inside Edge Network. We will see you next Thursday. This Thursday. Coming up. We'll see you when you see you. All right, we're out of here, man. Hasta la vista.